When you think of Central Florida, you think of sunshine, warmth, and tourists, and the city of Mount Dora is no exception to that rule. However, there is one little community nestled in the old oaks and historic buildings that stand apart, and in that community is one woman who has seen it all, Pauline Mabry. The Northeast community in Mount Dora is a unique community that's always been historically African American. Before it was established as the Northeast in 1989, it was originally called the East, and the community is filled with hardworking people, community leaders, families, and business owners. Pauline was born at Waterman Hospital in Eustis 75 years ago and raised right here in Mount Dora, more specifically, the Northeast community. Pauline has seen many changes over the years and holds a lot of memories growing up in the African American community, some good.
For us, it was a fun place. There were things that was in our neighborhood that, even though we didn't have much, we had a lot of fun with each other. We didn't have a lot of toys. We used to cut down bushes out of the fields, and they had like the bushy tail, I don't know what you call them, they were green. And we'd make them be our ponies, and we'd ride them, a bunch of us, all through the town, just finding different objects to make a toy out of.
And some bad.
I've seen a lot. I said I've seen some really horrible things that took place in the city when we were children. Mrs. Gilbert, Mamie Gilbert, she came and said, Uncle Bubba has been beaten up badly. We went and he was wrapped in gauze looking like a mummy, all because he built a nice house in the neighborhood.
Even in those bad times of segregation and discrimination, there were still words of inspiration to be had.
But I remember him that morning saying, when we were crying and he began to talk, he said, don't worry, the next house I build is going to be better. And the next house he built was on Orange Street. And he put in flooring with the heating system. He had the intercom. He did not let that deter his dream to live in a nice home.
Some people don't like change, but for Pauline, change in racial attitudes shifted things for her as she spoke about her mother.
At one time, blacks only worked on the farms. And even though my mom, she did caregiving. And that's when I began to notice that people treated her differently. Because when she was just what you called the housekeeper, she was treated more like second class nobody. But when she started being a caregiver, the people that she worked with respected her, and some of them even really loved her as if she were a family member. They treated her like that. That was when I began to notice that things were really changing.
Pauline is a mother of 5, with her son shipping off to the Army. She spoke about her children, her grandchildren, and yes, even her great-grandchildren as she reminisced about her life in Mount Dora. But Pauline is not done yet. She has another mission, to save women's lives.
I do breast screening every year. My reason for starting, I lost my granddaughter at age 31 with breast cancer. So our first event was called Kavina Miss Piggy breast cancer event. That year, first year we did it at the King Center over in the parking lot. That was in 2011, October 15th. And who got to be the lucky one that year? I'm running around trying to make sure everybody get a mammogram. You got to get these mammograms. And the lady was named Susan that kept saying, Pauline, we need you on the bus. And I kept saying, no, I don't have time. I got to get these ladies. So finally she stopped me and looked me in the face. She said, get on the bus now. Everything that they saw on the screening indicated that I had beginning cancer. Oh, wow. And December the 2nd of that year, I had both breasts removed.
At 75 years old, Pauline, even through her own illness, wants to help women through awareness and marches throughout the city.
And as soon as I got better, I started walking. We did the first walk from my house all the way through Grandview and back around, passing out flyers, letting women know that they need to get the breast mammograms.
In the end, Pauline's legacy will be handed down to her own children to take up the torch to help save women's lives. And for that, we should be thankful that Pauline Mabry lives in and loves Mount Dora.
You're precious. You are gifted, and you can be whatever you want to be. And I tell them, most of all, you got to have self-love. Regardless of how someone views you, you've got to see who you are on the inside yourself.